Jameela Jamil, Harry's Wife's Friend, Part 1. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. You may recall, where you had the misfortune to actually listen to an episode of Archetypes, or, if you adopted the more humorous and educational route of listening to my analyses, that Jameela Jamil appeared on one of the episodes of Archetypes. She, as one of Harry's wife's friends, occupying a position as a non-intimate secondary source in Harry's wife's fuel matrix, is somebody worth assessing to determine, is she a narcissist? Or is she something else? Is she a normal, an empath, or narcissistic? And how does that work with regard to what she is, being in the fuel matrix of Harry's wife? As always, to make a determination, we look at a considerable body of evidence that determines what she is by looking for a range of indicators in terms of narcissistic indicators and empathic indicators. We look at the behaviors over a sustained period of time because a snapshot of somebody's behavior, whilst indicative, is not determinative. As I've explained elsewhere, that you could have a normal, an empath, a narcissistic person, and a narcissist all engage in a similar behavior. And therefore, all four individuals, you might say, oh, they're behaving as a narcissist. And you might make that determination by looking at a snapshot of their behavior. However, in order to get to the root of what that person is, to see what truly drives their behavior, is it a need for control, the pursuit of the prime aims in terms of fuel, character traits, and residual benefits? Or is it that they're just somebody that's low on emotional empathy and self-absorbed and self-centered? Might it be someone who's a mixture of relatively low narcissistic and empathic traits, who does exhibit emotional empathy but only for a small group of people? Or is it an individual that can have both strong empathic and strong narcissistic traits, but their empathic traits outgun their narcissistic traits, and they have a wide circle of emotional empathy, thus being an empath? We look at the range of behaviors over a sustained period of time from a variety of sources to determine whether the individual who is being scrutinized is an empath, is a normal, is a narcissistic person, but not a narcissist, or a narcissist. The range of material is extensive, coming from public and not so public sources. And we take a walk through this material about Jameela Jamil to look at what she is, and also to look at that in the context of her relationship with Harry's wife. Jameela alia Jamil was born on the 25th of February 1986, and she's a British actress and presenter. The fact of being an actress suggests relatively strong narcissistic traits in order to engage in showmanship, and would suggest some pride and vanity. The fact that she is a presenter means that she enjoys being in the spotlight, which could suggest the necessity of the receipt of fuel. Not all presenters, of course, are narcissists, nor are all actresses or actors narcissists, but our kind are overrepresented in those ranks because of the necessity of those roles requiring people with strong narcissistic traits, and also the benefits that come with those positions in terms of the prime aims. Jamil began her career on Channel 4, where she hosted a pop culture series in the T4 strand from 2009 until 2012. She then became the radio host of the official chart and was co-host of the official chart update alongside Scott Mills on BBC Radio 1. She was the first solo female presenter of the BBC Radio Chart show. She was born in Hampstead, London, to an Indian father, Ali Jamil, and a Pakistani-British mother, Shireen Jamil. She stated in 2015 that as a child she faced a plethora of health problems, being born with congenital hearing loss and labyrinthitis, for which she had several operations to correct, and that she had 70% hearing ability in her left ear and 50% in her right ear. Is this someone who just generally has health problems? Is it somebody that utilizes those health problems for the purpose of drawing sympathy and manipulation? Are these perhaps the symptoms of somebody that belongs in the victim cadre? We shall have to see. At the age of 9, she was diagnosed with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a genetic disorder affecting the connective tissue in the body, and was diagnosed with celiac disease at age 12. She experienced mercury poisoning at age 21, which she attributes to mercury leakage from amalgam teeth fillings, and further exacerbated by the improper removal of them, which burned holes in her digestive system. She has stated that she has suffered as a teenager from anorexia and describes not eating a full meal between the ages of 14 and 17. She believes her eating disorder developed due to societal pressure, including magazine articles selling weight loss products. Could this be correct, or is this some form of blame shifting and victim mentality? At the age of 17, she was struck by a car while running from a bee. But a dog didn't step on one, breaking several bones and damaging her spine. She describes being told that she might never walk again, but slowly recovering after steroid treatment and physiotherapy, using a Zimmer frame to start walking. She credits the car accident for pushing her towards recovery from anorexia, saying it changed her relationship with her body. She attended Queen's College School in London, but was unable to complete her A-levels, citing the accident. Is this a genuine complaint, or was it that she blame shifts her inability to complete something, showing a lack of accountability? She stated she then taught English to foreign students at the Callan School of English in London for 2 years. In a 2013 interview with Independent, she said she worked as a model scout but never as a model, although in 2020 she stated she worked as a model but denied being one in early interviews. Is this a revision of history or simply poor recollection? Is this the narcissistic trait of denial? She also describes having worked as a photographer, scout and model agent for Premier Model Management. Jamil stated in an NPR interview that she was working as a teacher when she was discovered by a producer at a bar and asked to audition as a presenter. She also said she applied to be a presenter via email after seeing a T4 job advertisement. Jamil appeared on Music Zone on E4, the youth channel owned by Channel 4, towards the end of 2008. She then began presenting at Channel 4's youth slot T4 in 2009. In January 2009, when the previous presenter, Alexa Chung, left the morning TV show Freshly Squeezed, Jamil succeeded her as co-host alongside Nick Grimshaw. In 2010, Jamil presented The Closet, an online fashion advice show on the social networking site Bebo, produced by 2020. Jamil also started working as an event DJ in 2010. She has stated that her first show was at Elton John's birthday party, where she says she was invited to DJ because she lied about having prior experience. Telling a lie, does this show an absence of emotional empathy and a sense of entitlement and lack of accountability? In subsequent interviews on social media, she stated that she worked for a DJ for 8 years after studying music for 6 years on a music scholarship. From 2011 to 2014, she wrote a column for Company, the woman's monthly magazine. In January 2012, she replaced June Sarpong as the host of the reality show Playing It Straight, in which a group of gay men lie about their sexuality and compete with a group of straight men for a woman's affections in order to try to win money. In June 2012, Jamil collaborated with Very to debut her first fashion collection. At the end of 2012, Jamil became the radio host of the official chart and was co-host of the official chart update alongside Scott Mills on Radio 1. She left London in 2016 and moved to Los Angeles. She recounts having no plans of acting and that she instead intended to work as a screenwriter. While working as a writer at 3 Arts, her agents told her that Michael Shaw, who co-created Parks and Recreation, was looking for a British actress for a newly upcoming comedy series. Having no prior acting experience at this point, she went for the audition and told the casting director she had stage acting experience, telling another lie, sense of entitlement, lack of accountability. She was later recalled for a second interview with Mike Shaw and all of the producers in which she claimed to have comedy improv experience. Is this another lie being told? She was eventually given the role. The show premiered in September 2016, with Jamil being a regular cast member of the NBC fantasy comedy series The Good Place, where she played Tahani Al-Jamil. Jamil's character became known for her tendency to name drop. Jamil's boyfriend, musician James Blake, stated that Jamil contributed to the production of his fourth album, Assumed Form, in 2017-2018. Since 2019, she's been the host of The Misery Index, a comedy game show on TBS. In March 2020, she posed fully clothed in suit and tie for Playboy magazine's On Speech issue. She later tweeted from the Playboy shoot, "I want to be shot like a man, no retouching, high-res, loose, comfortable clothes and completely unsexualized. I felt extremely free." In April 2020, she debuted her podcast, I Weigh, with Jameela Jamil, which focused on women's accomplishments, body positivity, activism, racial inclusivity. Is this demonstrative of her emotional empathy, or perhaps are we seeing cognitive empathy in her behaviour? In June 2021, Jamil was cast as the supervillain Mary McFerrin, Titania, in the Disney Plus streaming series She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Also in 2022, she voiced Wonder Woman in the animated film DC League of Super Pets. In 2021, Jamil contributed to the production of James Blake's fifth album, Friends That Break Your Heart. So we see that she's been relatively productive with regard to music, presentation, and acting, fields which are often ones seen with many narcissists. However, we also see that she is someone who's repeatedly told lies, and somebody who's repeatedly suffered from ill health and injury, something that will be revisited in due course. Join me in part 2 for further analysis of this individual to determine what she is, and as one of Harry's wife's friends.